Hello everyone, welcome to Go Get My Guru. Let's continue our series on Python interview questions and answers. The next question comes is, how can you check the type of variable in Python? As you all know, Python is dynamically typed language, so there is no need to mention the type of data you are declaring. So it is interpreted by interpreter at the runtime. So how we can check the type of variable? This can be checked using two functions. First one is type function, or you can go for isInstant function. So let's see how we can make use of these functions. Let's say I have a variable x and I have assigned value 100 to it. Now, if I want to know the type of this variable, what I should do? I should make use of type function. When I run this program, I'll get the type of this x variable. So x is of type int, that is integer. I said we can go for isInstant function also. So isInstant function takes two arguments. So what are those two arguments? Let's say print, and then first is your variable name and then the type of variable. So here I'll give type of variable as int. So these are the two arguments taken by isInstant function. So this checks whether the variable belongs to the class you defined. So when I run this program, here you can see that when I made use of type function, it is returning integer type, that is and. Now when I used isInstance function, it is returning true. So if our argument 1 matches with the data type of argument 2, then it will return true. So here if I mention x as, let's say, float. Now when I run this, I'll get false because x is 100, that is not a float value. That's why I'm getting false. So using isInstant function tells you either your data type you have mentioned is true, correct or wrong. So the next basic question and most frequent question asked in Python interview is, what is the difference between list and tuple? So we have seen that list and tuple comes under sequence data type. So what exactly is the difference between these two? So the first and the key difference between these two is lists are mutable and tuples are immutable. When you say words like this, lists are mutable, then interviewer immediately asks you what is mutable and what is immutable. So that might be the next question. So what do you mean by mutable and immutable? So mutable is objects once created can be modified. That means you can change the objects after creating them. But immutable objects once created cannot be modified. So list is an example of mutable and tuple is an example of immutable. When you get such a question in interview, don't just say the definitions of this, just write a piece of code and try to explain. So first let's create a list first. We all know how to create list. So let's say I'll create list for numbers, and how lists are enclosed? It is enclosed in square brackets. So I'm showing you the example for mutable. Now I want to change the first item of this list, that is 0th index. So this I can change using indexing. So I'll change it to 10. Print our list. So when I run this program, you can see that first item has changed to 10 instead of 1. So this means you are creating a list. After that you are changing the items of the list. That is the meaning of mutable. Now let's create a tuple. Details Anvesh, comma, and specify some age, and let's say I'll specify gender as well. So if I try to change the values of this tuple, I'll get an error. Let's check. So I want to change the name from Anvesh to some other name, let's say. When I try to print this, we'll get an error. Let's check that. So always tuples, they are enclosed in parentheses. So when I try to run this, we will get error. Let's check that. So here you can see that we have got list printed, but when we try to change the element of tuple, we are getting error. That is, tuple object does not support item assignment. So this is why we will call tuple as immutable. So once the tuple is created, you cannot modify or add any elements to this tuple. Whereas to list, you can add elements. So always whenever you get a question like this, try to explain with lines of code. to differentiate between tuple and list. So the next difference between list and tuple is lists have variable length and tuples have fixed lengths. So this also can be proved as tuples cannot be changed. The items of tuple cannot be changed. So its length is fixed. We can change, add, remove elements from this list. So the length is variable. And we have seen the syntax as well. Lists are enclosed in square brackets. Tuples are enclosed in parentheses. And iterating process takes more time than tuple in list, whereas iteration is faster than list. So tuples take less execution time than list. Why is it so? That is because tuples are immutable, so they are stored in the same memory block and iteration process becomes faster when compared to list. So the next obvious question you may get is, which is more memory efficient? Is it list or tuple? So tuple is more memory efficient than list. Why is it so? Interviewer might ask you why, how you are telling tuple is more efficient than list. Because tuple is immutable and it takes lesser memory space compared to list. Let's understand with an example. So let's keep the same program. What I will do is, let's try to know the size of this object we have created. So numbers dot size of, so we have to change this and let's make use of same thing. I'll comment this line here. So here again details dot size of. So now let's run this and check the memory space taken by these two, list and tuple. So first one is for list and the second one is for tuple. So these are in terms of bytes. So list is taking 104 bytes of memory, whereas tuple is taking 48 bytes of memory. Why is it so? So whenever we create a list creates additional memory space because we say that lists are mutable, and further when they are added in the memory space which has been created in advance. But as tuple is immutable, it is taking only the memory space for the defined objects, not for any extra